This is Group 4's presentation on why we believe GMOs should not be used in animal food. This is for our Animals and Society 67 Section 4 class. My name is Sukhpreet Ranu and I will be presenting the next few slides, and then I'll also be presenting some of the slides towards the end. So what are GMOs? GMOs are genetically modified organisms. Genetically modified organisms are when an organism's DNA has been altered either by replacement, removal, or the addition of a gene by human beings in a lab, most often scientists. And the bottom visual just comes to show the top five most prevalent GMO crops in the United States. And as you can see, cotton, corn, canola, soy, sugar beets, these are all have all a lot of these crops are GMO crops now. History and background information. Before GMOs, humans would use selective breeding to bring out desirable traits. An example of this is wolf domestication, and as you can see here, 10,000 years ago, crop domestication, selective breeding was very big. But then things started to change as we entered this new um, technologically advanced stage of human society when they started to use genetic engineering to literally put genes into different organisms. This began in 1973, thanks to Herbert Boyers and Stanley Cohen. Human insulin was the first GMO product to be approved by the FDA to be sold to the public. The first GMO food to be approved was a tomato, and the first animal to be sold and altered was salmon. This is just a good visual history of GMOs, and if you would like to pause, you can, you'll feel free to go through it and just look through. But as you can see, 10,000 years ago, that's how far back the history goes, and this is when crop domestication was very big. And then now, all the way in 2017, now genetically modified apples exist. So as you can see, the history has been very big, and in the recent times from the 1900s to now, this is when uh, GMOs have truly advanced at a rapid rate.
Hello, my name is Kaylla Galarza, and for this presentation, I will introduce the ethical aspects and sociological importance that oppose the use of GMOs in animal feed. So let's begin with the ethical aspects. There is potential harm on the human body in the future, which research cannot predict. And GMOs are also ethically questioned by religions. There are many concerns in the eyes of different religions. For example, some leaders of the Protestant Church are concerned about the long term effects of GMOs on humans. Additionally, people believe that humans shouldn't play God. It's a common concern about GMO technology and usage as this action is not considered natural. Scientists are taking reproduction and traits into their own hands by engineering perfect foods that are not natural. And if we look here, corn is a well-known genetically modified food, and here we have people eating corn filled with GMOs, and will they look ill? And we have scientists and the government looking in, not seeming to care. Now for sociological importance. Well, traditional farming practices are being replaced by pesticide use and other common farming practices, which is highly costly. And corporate farms benefit the most from GMO produced crops because they can afford the high costs associated with them, such as the cost for pesticide, for seeds, and other resources. So we have small farms and farmers that cannot compete with corporate farms due to financial insecurity that restricts how much a small farmer can invest into their crop. Like, and if we look at this image here at the top, the resources and rent are equal, but we see the difference when it comes to the cost of seed. Now we have farmers, non-GMO farmers, who are spending less on seeds because they cannot afford as much as GMO farmers. And clearly we can see the difference in the income that the seed cost influences. Now, in terms of trade and sales, farmers are at risk of losing credibility, money, and customers when they plant contaminated seeds without knowing. Look at the bottom image here. We have 5 occasions in which farmers sold or attempted to sell contaminated and not approved products to other consumers, whether it was worldwide or within the US borders. And this has cost farmers a great sum of money and resources. In addition, these seed companies are not held accountable for selling contaminated seeds, and these farmers are suffering.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Torres, and current events involving the against aspect of GMOs is the recent discovery of different side effects from GMOs in human health. Scientists have brought serious concern due to the bacteria from genetically engineered genes that are leaving diseases untreatable. This is because of certain GMO plants that contain bacteria in their DNA that are being then transferred into the human body. According to the Institute for Agricultural and Trade Policy, a British study has proved that modified soya can cause bacteria in the small intestine. Although experts have said that it was unlikely it was the modified soya, it could have also been other modified organisms because they contain anti-resistant DNA and also carry weed killer in their DNA. So there is no way of stopping the bacteria in the gene to be transferred into the human body because it could have already been transferred by other modified plants and crops, but modified soya is one of them, according to the study. As said in the current events slide, antibiotic resistance is a big topic against GMOs. Studies have shown that genes implemented in GMO plants carry a gene that are resistant towards certain antibiotics. Genes are also carry bacteria that can negatively affect the human body, making it resistant towards specific antibiotics. And it also makes changes towards the digestive system and immune system, like I had mentioned previously. One example is antibiotic therapy. Some people who are ill with these diseases aren't able to be treated because of the antibiotics. And another gene that is found in cattle, specifically called Paul locus, is transferred by bacteria as well. This has been an unintentional introduced GM, but it does show danger of antibiotic resistance towards bacteria. And in the image, you are able to see how antibiotics are able to kill bacteria, but the bacteria that has survived will duplicate, and that causes the antibiotic resistance towards antibiotics.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joseph Pinheiro. I am in Animal Science 67, group number 4 with Professor Ganshi. This slide is going to be really quick, talking about a few of the disadvantages of genetically modified organisms and kind of the main downsides of them. Just a few to list really quick. So what are the disadvantages of GMOs? So pretty much the number one most common side effect consuming genetically modified foods in humans is allergic reactions, and this is also one of the main arguments that are being used to be against GMOs. Many people who experience an allergic reaction when consuming genetically modified foods experience a protein or allergen that is present in the food and unfortunately triggers an immune response. This is the main disadvantage of consuming GMOs due to the fact that a lot of people have allergic reactions and their body reacts a lot differently than most people when consuming GMOs. Um, another downside to consuming GMOs, the nutritional value on certain GM foods have been found to be lower than normal. So, funny enough, some genetically modified foods have been reported to be non existent of nutritional value. As genetic engineering tends to focus more on increasing production and prolonging the lifespan, the nutritional value of some crops is sometimes compromised, which means, for example, a study found that organic soybeans, which are normal soybeans without being genetically modified, have been found to be a lot higher in nutritional components versus modified soybeans. And lastly, there has really been studies of toxins. There has been studies found of toxins being released back into the soil of the field that the GMO was grown in. Um, Toxicity is a huge issue concerning genetically modified crops. One particular example is the BT corn, which is widely known for its pest controlling ability. Um, and while such characteristics helps control pests, this may result in releasing the said toxin back into the soil. Too many toxins in soil, just like anything else, can prevent the growth of bacteria essential for plant growth. As a result, the soil becomes void of necessary nutrients, which in then return makes it a lot harder for natural resources and um, natural soil resources available in the soil. It tends to just take all that good nutrients and good toxins and good bacteria out of the soil because it's so genetically modified.
This is Sukhpreet Ranu, and I will be presenting the last couple slides. Against health. GMOs could trigger allergic reactions in some due to foreign genes. There was a study in the mid 1990s that found that adding a specific protein to a Brazilian nut um, into a GMO soybean actually caused allergic reactions in certain people that were sensitive to these Brazilian nuts. This is something that needs to be taken into account because allergic reactions can be very serious, and GMO crops need to be held accountable for that. There are also some concerns that GMOs could contribute to the progression of cancer. Cancer added genes could cause DNA mutations that lead to cancer. This worry stems partly from an early mice study which linked GMO intake to a higher risk of tumors and early death. And this is just all scary stuff. This is truly scary stuff. And as you can see, yeah, human DNA changes. GMOs are literally added DNA into these crops, so you're letting foreign DNA enter your body. So who knows what could be the long-term effects of this? And other concerns include toxicity in body organs like the liver, kidney, and pancreas. And as you can see in this picture right here, it's just not healthy and natural because this is the control group of a specific study. This has no GMOs in it, and as you can see, naturally rots. But when there's GMOs added, it's just like nothing's happening, and it's just a scary foreign thing to look at. Organic food. Organic food is a healthy substitute to GMOs. Organic food completely avoids GMOs and allows for small farmers to compete with the cheap prices of GMO crops. Animals raised organically avoid antibiotics, artificial drugs, and growth hormones. This is a very extremely safe and natural option. Toxic fertilizers and pesticides are avoided for more natural fertilizers. Organic farming can even be done by you. It can be done by the consumers, and it's very healthy and it's really healthy for the environment. And organic farming is truly going to be the way forward to avoid the dangers of GMO, as you can see right here. Informed opinion. The long-term effects of GMOs are unknown to scientists. Even if the chances of allergic reactions and chances of cancer are small, it is best to avoid something with so much uncertainty. Organic foods may cost more, but you can be rest assured that there's nothing that isn't supposed to be in your body. Antibiotic resistance is also a risk associated with GMO food intake. And considering all this risk, uncertainty, and ethical issues, we believe it best to avoid GMO produced food and instead stick to organic farming because that is what is truly natural and that is what is truly healthy.